The AONB team introduced us to green tourism, and we thought, well, we've already got a green tourism project, green accommodation, so we want to improve what we can do. I'm not trying to pretend that we're in any way perfect with what we do. One of the important things in this journey we've had is to make sure that A, we can afford to do what we want to, B, that we're actually going to get something back ourselves, and C, and probably most importantly, that it's going to help the environment. So we received advice on reducing water, energy, waste, all comes into it. Local and seasonal was something that was brought to us, that we could make use of anything that was seasonal in the area, activities, events, local, buying food from the village pub, buying from Doughty's the butchers, whose photograph was on one of the slides I saw. I think it was Mary's slides. And we ended up with a gold award from Green Tourism. We've had to do a lot more since then. I think by that time we had one small bank of solar water panels. We've always had accreditation from Quality in Tourism, or whatever it's been called, and we've got a 4-star rating. And a lot of people we know have said, well, you don't need accreditation. We're firm believers in it. It gives us targets to keep up to. A hostel might not be the place that everyone would choose to go, but maybe if it's a 4-star hostel, it looks a little better. But green tourism, that's actually been one of the strongest accreditation marks we've had, and been one of the ones which has attracted people. Being environmentally friendly can reduce our costs, not just our carbon footprint. And as I've just said, it encourages us to continually improve. I said funding was our biggest challenge, and we opened our courtyard accommodation in 2004. The hot water solar panels I mentioned, 2005, and in 2007, I'm not going to go into it, but we accidentally fell into camping. We don't have electric hookups. We don't encourage people to bring any modern technology with them. They're just coming to a simple green field. We don't pack people in. We've got 25 pitches and 3 bell tents that we erect. And we have a great big green space in the middle with tents 14 metres apart around the perimeter. Our granary is very much like a house with 4 bedrooms, 2 twins, 2 doubles. One of the doubles has an extra bed. And we set ourselves the challenge of not using fossil fuels to heat it. £5,000 for an air source heat pump, £32,000 for a pellet boiler, £32,000 for a ground source heat pump. It didn't really take a lot of thinking about. There are various people who try to argue that it's not renewable energy, and I agree it's perhaps not the best renewable energy, but this is the best that we could do. We also decided we'd like some more solar hot water panels, and this led to us putting up a new roof, which is 7 by 5 metres, I think, or 4 metres, and provides room for a table tennis table, a football table, and that can be cleared aside, and we've got an undercover sitting area with 2 sides open, facing out over our courtside lawns and patio. We've continued to change to LED lighting and tried to improve it. I should say that I'm a member of the RSPB. Hobbies are bird watching, wildlife, What have we done? I'm also a member of the Bumblebee Conservation Trust, the Kent Wildlife Trust. We're corporate members as well. And so we started putting in a wild bird seed mix. 6 years ago, I was waking up every morning to the sound of a turtle dove on the wires opposite my bedroom window. And those birds, we weren't sure whether they were nesting. We believed they were, but the following year they weren't there. So we put in a wild bird mix. It has fumetry in it. We got advice from the RSPB and from the Kent Wildlife Trust. But sadly, this didn't bring or keep the turtle doves there. And this last year, we actually worked with the RSPB and we put in a feeding area for turtle doves. They provided the seed. I put in a small pond so they've got somewhere to drink. And although we didn't get any nesting, some of you will know Richard Moyes. He used to be with Plant Life. A local man did report that he saw 2 turtle doves fly over our hostel buildings. So there are turtle doves there. In November 21 last year, helped by a group called Trees for Farms, we planted a hedgerow, 120 metres, and I've checked it, it's 575 plants that we planted there. We paid for the trees. Generally, Trees for Farms will get a grant from somewhere, but we paid for them. And one of the things that's been on our wish list for 10 years has been solar PV. And it's just been too expensive. We do quite a bit of cycling, and we were cycling via a local cafe in November and met a lady that we know who's got green cottages at Rombersham, and she's also a local councillor. And she said, "Oh, Graham, do you know about the Clean Growth Grant?" Which I didn't. So we went straight home, went on the website, and it's government money given to local councils to help businesses recover and to be more environmentally friendly, and grants of up to £10,000. So we phoned Swelborough Council, we spoke to their advisor, and we put in, applied for 3 quotes. One quote was far superior to the rest, it wasn't the cheapest, and they also quoted for an electric car charging point, a 7 kilowatt one, not a fast car charging point. And we put in an application, and quite quickly we had a confirmation that we'd been awarded £10,000, leaving us £7,780, I think it is, to pay, plus VAT, but it's only 5% and we can get that back. We got onto the company that had given us the quote, asking that they complete it by the end of March because that was the deadline. And they said, "Oh no, we're going to do it by the end of January." And a few days later, they phoned up to say, "Can we put the scaffolding up on Friday and start next Monday?" And by the end of that week, we've got 30 400-watt solar panels, 4 kilowatts in each block of 10, working on each of the 3 phases. And so now we're sorting out using immersion heaters on sunny days to heat our water, and to use the heat pump to heat the underfloor heating, because underfloor heating is like a heat sink. Once it's heated up, you could turn it off and 12 hours later there's still warmth coming out of it. So that's where we've got to so far. All of that's completed, and the big question is, what next?